So what's the word for today? My name is Anthony, aka Sir Kibble2, and I'm bringing you news and commentary for Sunday and a portion of today. Today we'll be discussing the state of Rainbow Six Patriots and another Battlefield 4 patch for the PC. You can skip to specific stories by clicking the timecode in the description, and you can view the original articles in the description also. So, what's the word? Rainbow Six Patriots isn't just delayed, they had to start over on the project. IGN spoke with Laurent Detoc, or Detoc, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but he's the North American president of Ubisoft, who said, quote, "We had a core team. They had a good vision, they got started, and then the game wasn't working. So they had to start again." He's also quoted implying that the name of the game could change. Quote, "Could it be a shooter with another name in the end because the team doesn't want to do counter-terrorist guys? Say they want to be in a mercenary setting. That's possible." End quote. Okay, so I think the game was announced too early. They had an idea and they thought it could work, and that's fair, that's completely fine. So in that confidence, they announced the game to intrigue fans and get us excited about the possibilities, and that's fair. But the problem I have is that they weren't finished with their concept. It's one thing to delay a game because you have to tweak things. It's one thing to make creative adjustments to something to add continuity or whatever. But it's a whole nother thing when you have to start something completely over. Ubisoft obviously decided to announce it when they did to get people on the hype train, to get fans interested and get into their wallets as soon as possible. They want people screaming, "Yes, this is gonna be awesome, I'm gonna get this," or, stuff like, "Just take my money now," stuff like that, You know what people post in comments. But now Laurent Detoc is saying that it may not even be called Patriots in the end. It may not even be what it was back in 2011. That's pretty discouraging. On one hand, it's great that Ubisoft is saying, this isn't such a good idea. Let's scrap it and restart it. That'll probably play into people's optimism for the game. I kind of share that sentiment myself. I think it's good that Ubisoft is taking a step back and saying we probably need to retweak this if we're going to make this as good as it could be. And that's fine. That's good PR. That's good marketing in and of itself. Considering what they've been doing with the Assassin's Creed series, it's actually kind of comforting that they're doing this. They did it with Watch Dogs 2, and despite that we're not playing it now, I'm glad they're taking a little more time with it, because considering the issues that we've seen with these next generation consoles, I can only imagine the type of issues Watch Dogs would have. So delaying isn't always a bad thing, but in this case it genuinely seems like they're taking time to tweak things. I'm okay with that. I personally liked the original concept. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it looked interesting. And that's enough for me to play it. I won't buy it, per se, but this is the state of games marketing today. It's not about presenting something to you that you can touch, if you will. It's all about playing up the idea of what something could be. Just look at the announcement of Tales from the Borderlands by Telltale Games. They didn't have much to talk about at the VGXs. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, we have this idea. We can't really talk about much because we're still working on it. But there's something. It's just like, you're going to announce this and not really talk about it, but it's Borderlands and it's Telltale, the guys who did Walking Dead. Dude, this is gonna be an instant hit. I like the sound of it too. I like the idea of Borderlands and Telltale getting together and producing something more story-oriented, because Borderlands could never get their story right. It's a world that has character. The characters have character, so I'd like to see those fleshed out a little bit more. And I played a lot of Borderlands, and I like The Walking Dead. So yeah, the idea is exciting. The idea seems to make sense. But you know what would get me a little more excited? An announcement with substance. I'd really like to hear what they're gonna do. I wanna see some stuff. Just giving them the time of day simply because they said, "I'm here, love me," but we can't love you. We can only love the idea. It's clever marketing, it works. I get sucked into it also. I don't blame anybody. But thinking soberly, it sets us up to be invested in something we haven't grasped yet, and because these campaigns are aimed at your wallet. That's what they are supposed to do. I'm not knocking that in and of itself, but I'm just not going to let them take your money. I'm here to inform you and help you make decisions. And you have to be careful when you hear these early announcements, because things change, concepts change, just like we see with Patriots. What you saw in 2011 may not be what you get whenever they decide to come out with it. That's just the reality. And so you have to taper down your excitement a little bit and be a little cautious. I hope restarting the project pays off, but until then, I myself have a little cautionary excitement. We could probably get a little taste of what's going to happen when Watch Dogs comes out, because they had a little 6-month delay on it. So if that turns out better, and we'll be able to tell by how well the systems are implemented and how well everything works together, and if it at least functions. But that will be telling of what could happen with Patriots in the future. And lastly, DICE have released a PC patch for Battlefield 4. It says it fixed a number of issues such as trade kills and dying shortly after killing someone in a firefight. They're also making the NVIDIA 331.82 driver mandatory and disabling DirectX 11.1 on NVIDIA cards that aren't updated with the latest drivers. So I don't own the PC version, though I'd like to. I would like to play it. The PC, that'd be great. I kind of like to know how this update is going. I didn't have time to look things up, but judging by the Xbox One version, I'm pretty sure there are still some hiccups, because the Xbox One still had not a whole bunch, but there were still some times where the match would switch in between loading, sound didn't come out, trade kills were still happening, I was still getting shot behind cover after I was well behind the cover. So things like that are still happening, so I can imagine there's still going to be some issues with the PC. DICE also said new bugs are popping up, like the revive bar staying on screen, and players who have SLI enabled are experiencing graphical flickering. So can't really say much more about this. I kind of said everything I wanted to say in the last video about Battlefield 4 and its glitchiness and bugginess. So it's good they're getting these things patched up, that's fine, but it's still a foreboding problem for future EA games and Battlefield games and Battlefield 4 in general. So we'll see what happens. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be back tomorrow with more. See you later.